PayPal has introduced its own dollar-based stablecoin, named PayPal-USD or PYUSD, in collaboration with blockchain company Paxos. Initially available to select US customers, PYUSD can be used for purchases using PayPal's crypto checkout option. Users can transfer the stablecoin within PayPal and other compatible wallets, make peer-to-peer payments with PYUSD, and swap between PYUSD and other supported cryptocurrencies. The reserves for PYUSD consist of US dollar deposits, US treasuries, and similar assets, ensuring its value always stays at $1 per PYUSD. PayPal's CEO Dan Schulman emphasized the importance of a stable digital equivalent to the US dollar, citing PayPal's innovation and compliance history as a foundation for the stablecoin's growth. From September 2023, Paxos will release a monthly public reserve report for PYUSD and a third-party audit of its value, adhering to AICPA standards. PayPal also announced that PYUSD will be launched as an ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain. This ensures that the new stablecoin is readily accessible to a broad spectrum of external developers, wallets, Web3 platforms, and facilitates its adoption by exchanges. Before we get more into the socio-economic reaction and also speculation perhaps for PYUSD, let's dive a little bit into the ERC20 contract a little bit. The contract, viewable and verified on Etherscan, depending on which way you look at it, contains some rather worrying, or on the other hand, very security-conscious functions. However, before we get into that, please remember though that this video is intended for entertainment and also educational purposes only. I am not a licensed financial advisor. Investing in cryptocurrency always carries risk. Also, we want to hear from you. Please leave us a comment either to let us know your thoughts on this topic or perhaps just say hello. Of course, subscribing to the channel and also liking the video goes a long way as well. Anyway, with that aside, let's get back to the PYUSD contract. The contract has functions pause and also unpause, which respectively pause and unpause the contract's operations. While the contract is pause, no transfers, minting or burning can happen at all. This can be useful in scenarios like emergencies or when updating the contract. PayPal also implement what they call an asset protection function. This feature allows certain addresses, the asset protection role, to freeze and unfreeze other addresses, preventing or allowing them to send or receive tokens. The freeze and unfreeze functions enable and also disable this for particular addresses. Arguably perhaps more worrying as well, the wipe frozen address function can wipe out the balance of a frozen address, removing its tokens entirely. This is, of course, an issue regarding centralization, and although many opinions about this have been voiced on Twitter recently, here is the real kicker. USDT, USDC, DAI, and probably a lot of other stablecoins as well have very similar functions. USDT has add, blacklist, unpause, pause, and destroy black funds functions. Also, the USDC contract, which interestingly can only be written using proxy, has blacklist, cancel authorization, pause, and unpause. DAI, though, perhaps is the most intriguing, as they refer to users' Ethereum addresses as GUI. DAI uses the deny GUI function to freeze users' funds. To explain this a little bit in more detail, the deny function takes an address, which is GUI, as an argument and sets the corresponding value in the wards mapping to 0. The wards mapping is also used to keep track of authorized addresses. By setting the value to 0, the deny function, the contract is effectively revoking the authorization of the given address, GUI, to perform specific actions that require authorization. This mechanism allows the contract owner to control and manage the addresses that have permissions to perform certain functions, such perhaps as modifying the contract parameters or executing specific operations, by granting or denying authorization through the rely and also deny functions, respectively. In summary, in this context, deny means removing authorization or permission from a specific address to perform certain actions within the smart contract. Although PYUSD does have centralized functions that at face value could appear worrying, other stable token contracts have pretty much exactly the same. PayPal's introduction signifies a resurgence in Paxos's white label service. This comes after New York state authorities mandated the company to halt the production of the then third-ranking stablecoin, Binance USD or BUSD in February. The halt was due to certain issues concerning Paxos's supervision of its ties with Binance, the largest global crypto exchange, as we all know. Binance has faced regulatory challenges itself, having been sued by both the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodities Future Trading Commission as well. While arguably there may not be a pressing global demand for more stable tokens pegged to the dollar, a prudently managed stable token venture can be profitable. Despite unclear financial disclosures, Tether USDT, the entity behind USDT owned by iFinex, who also owns Bitfinex, reported over $1 billion in profits for each of the initial 2 quarters of this year. This is attributed to the returns on the assets supporting $83 billion worth of its tokens. Circle, the issuer of USDC and Tether's primary rival with a value of around $26 billion, hasn't actually made public its financial data after an unsuccessful bid to go public in the previous year. Yet, considering its managed assets, it might be raking in nearly $2 billion in gross revenue for the year. With its stocks plummeting to their lowest in 6 years this past May, and also declining by 12.9% this year, PayPal is keen to tap into this potential. In a recent interview, Jose Fernandez da Ponte, the Senior VP and also General Manager for blockchain, crypto and digital currencies at PayPal, mentioned their intent. He emphasized that as a payment enterprise, they aim to facilitate payment transactions which will be monetized in diverse ways, extending beyond merely profiting from the reserve. The announcement from PayPal also comes at a rather convenient time for the Fed to also address the issue of stablecoins. The Federal Reserve's Board of Governors has issued a letter on August 8th, 2023, which relates to the supervisory non-objection process for state member banks seeking to engage in certain activities involving dollar tokens. To put this in a more simple context, the Federal Reserve has issued guidelines for state member banks interested in activities involving dollar tokens, which is the Fed's way of saying stablecoins, using distributed ledger technology. Banks must demonstrate they can safely manage these activities and get approval from the Federal Reserve before proceeding. The guidelines also outline specific risks, including operational, cybersecurity, and liquidity risks that the banks must manage. The Federal Reserve will continue to monitor all the banks closely that it's in touch with currently. The context of this letter can be broken down as follows. The Board of Governors clarified in a policy statement on January the 27th, 2023, that it generally expects state member banks to engage in activities that are allowed for national banks, with certain conditions. Obviously, it's still very early days for the PayPal stablecoin or PYUSD, and who knows what the future can hold. However, what are your thoughts on the PayPal stablecoin? Will you be using it, perhaps at the PayPal Pay with Crypto option? Anyway, thank you very, very much, as always, for making it through to the end of the video. Please leave us a comment, say hello, like, subscribe, and speak very, very soon. Bye-bye.